Hello friends, welcome to Devrat Knowledge Villa. You are watching our English video series of operating system and learning basics of OS. Today's our topic is multitasking operating system, which is also known as a time sharing and pair share. So let's start with the structure of multitasking. If you will look about the structure of multitasking, so it is same as look like in multi-programming. We have already discussed multi-programming operating system in our earlier video. So guys, if you are still remain to watch that video, so please click on I button at top right corner. Watch that video first and come back here to understand the multitasking in easy way. So if you will look here, so there is no modification into the structure of multitasking as compared to multi-programming. Here there is a number of multiple programs into the main memory. Same here, these are the multiple programs or process into the main memory. Just name is given here in place of program P1. Here mail is written in place of program P2. Here office is written. So like these are the number of different processes. For example, you are accessing email, you are working on Microsoft Office, you are playing a game, or you are downloading any movie or song, etc. So this type of task carried out parallelly whenever you are using your computer system. So let's see how this thing is going to work. So if you will look about the multi-programming and multitasking, so just functionality is going to be changed here. Remaining entire structure of system is remain as it is. Let's start with the properties so we can understand what are the changes in functionality. So here multi-programming with round robin. New word, that is round robin. So one process scheduling method, that is round robin algorithm. We will discuss this technique into the process management unit. But before that moment, let's understand how this multi-programming is going to happen with the round robin. In our earlier session of multi-programming, we have discussed whenever job A is in execution, so remaining all jobs are in waiting. Whenever job A will go for the another resources or job A is going to be complete, then and then CPU is allocated to some another jobs or another process. So that was the working configuration of multi-programming system. Now in this configuration, how we will use the round robin technique, let's see. That is forceful preemption to process. In this case of multi-programming, we are not going to forcefully preempt any process or job. Look like if you will driving into the city, so at any junction there are traffic signals over there. So how traffic signals are working? Look like suppose there is a time quantum of 2 minutes. So traffic signal will allow first lane for the 2 minutes. Then after traffic signal will close that lane and allow second lane traffic for the 2 minutes. Same thing for the third and fourth lane. So all of the lanes have same time quantum, and signal is allowing every lanes one by one for the particular time quantum. Same fundamental is going to be apply here. For example, if we decide the 2 millisecond time quantum, so after completion of 2 millisecond, job A will left the CPU and CPU is allocated to the next job which is in waiting. Suppose next job is job B. So again after completion of 2 millisecond, job B will release the CPU and CPU will allocate it to some another job. So every 2 millisecond CPU is switched between different jobs. So this thing is known as a multi-programming with round robin, and this fundamental is known as a multitasking, or you can say time sharing, or you can say pair share. Let's see what is the benefit. So there is a good response time as compared to multi-programming. What happens in case of multi-programming? After completion of entire job A, then and then response is given to some another job. Or when job A will go for the another resources, then and the response is given to some another job. But right now, here in this case, after completion of time quantum, after completion of every time quantum, response is given to next job. So there is a good response time. Next thing, there is proper CPU utilization. Why? Because CPU is going to be allocated to every process after completion of time quantum. So there is a good CPU utilization also. Now if we will look about the limitation of this technique, so there are a few limitations are here, that is requires frequent context switching. Look like if you will consider another example of your classroom. So if you will get a lecture of 1 hour or 1.5 hour or 2 hour, then it is good. In entire day you are attending 4 lectures or 1 laboratory sessions, and you can complete your day. But suppose there are lectures of 15 minutes only, then how many lecture will occur? Get it? So you will bore from the multiple context switch. So that's why there is need to decide particular time quantum to avoid multiple context switch, because every context switch is carrying some amount of time. Suppose currently you are attending the lecture of operating system, and after completion the session of operating system, new schedule is for the object-oriented programming. So whenever faculty of operating system will move outside the classroom, and new faculty of object-oriented programming will enter inside the classroom, so this will take some amount of time. So some amount of time is going to be waste here. Same thing in this case, whenever CPU is getting the context switch between different jobs, so again for this type of context switching, it will require some amount of time. So there is a few time is going to be waste here. Next thing, that is require perfect scheduling algorithm. Why? Because if you will consider the example of your classroom, so earlier timetable is required to give the students which lectures arrive first, which subject is second, which subject is third. So for the entire day or entire week or entire semester, we are preparing earlier timetable. So again, for in this case, there is need to design some scheduling algorithms or scheduling techniques that will decide which job execute next and when. Next thing, that is no priority arrangement. It means here there is no VIP culture. Suppose you are driving on any lane, so in case of emergency, look like some ambulance will arrive. So we are giving the priority to this type of medical vehicles like ambulance, like some ministers are traveling. So police are going to stop the common people, and they will allow first to the VIP persons to pass out from the road or a lane. So this type of priority scheduling is not possible here in case of multitasking. So that is also one limitation of multitasking. Now if we will compare multitasking with multi-programming, so there was a few limitations of multi-programming, like main memory management, process scheduling, internal external fragmentation, that all we will overcome into the memory management and process management unit. But one important limitation was that was no forceful preemption. So this thing is going to be overcome here. Here in case of multitasking, there is forceful preemption to process. It means in between the execution, we can stop any process after completion of time quantum and we can allocate the CPU to some another process. Now, few limitations of multitasking that we have already discussed. We will try to overcome these limitations into our next topic. We will discuss our next topic. It will be multi-processing operating system. Hope you enjoy the today's session. If you have any query regarding to the today's topic, so please comment me on comment box. Thanks for watching Devrat Knowledge Villa. Thank you very much.